Welcome to Country Fried Rock, where we have conversations with songwriters for real music lovers who enjoy context and musical connection. We are Country Fried Rock. Today on Country Fried Rock, I talk with Perry Brown of the band Fire Mountain from Troy, Alabama. Fire Mountain's brand new album, All Dies Down, came out last week on This Is American Music. Brown and I talk about bands we both love, like Centromatic, what shish kabob skewers have to do with their album, and the one place they all agree is their favorite place to play. Let's check in with Fire Mountain today on Country Fried Rock. My guest today on Country Fried Rock is Perry Brown of the band Fire Mountain from Alabama. Welcome.
Hey, good to be here.
We were just talking off the air. You have a little bit of a website problem like I do. Your name is Fire Mountain, but your website is Fire Mountain Band.
Yeah, it's always been kind of a little quagmire with it because, I mean, first off, the name of our band doesn't mean anything. I just didn't want to name the band, and I had to have a name for a show, and it was some inside joke me and a friend made, so the name of the band means nothing, and then, well, heck, I have to have a website, so firemountain.com. Well, that's taken by some jewelry store.
Right.
And so, well, let's do Fire Mountain Band because we're a band, and so now everywhere we play, people think we're called the Fire Mountain Band. And, you know, who cares, whatever. Nobody knows who we are.
Hey, listen, as long as they buy this new record, All Dies Down. Yeah. So let's back up a little bit because I first got to know you all from an EP maybe 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. What's been happening for the band since then?
Well, we recorded that last EP, which was called Of the Dust, and we did that, I guess, 3 years ago. And since then, like after that came out, we just... You know, all of us, we have, like, full-time jobs and families and stuff, so we don't tour as much as most people do. But there was about a year and a half there where we played a bunch of shows, and at least one or two every week. Not one every night, but it racked up by the end of the years, and it was, you know, we played a ton of shows. And so after that came out, we just played all around. I mean, mainly just the South and Florida and Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee and all down in here. And we just promoted that, going around playing, and then about 2.5, 3 years ago, we started writing this new record, All Dies Down, and it's, you know, I didn't really realize how long it had been in between until the other day I looked back at something we had done when we first started recording demos, and I looked at the timestamp, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was like 3.5 years ago.
Wow.
And so, yeah, just trying to find time to write and record and work things out, and that's really what we've been doing since the last one.
Y'all also had personal changes and writing changes, and how has that impacted where you're going now? Because for people who haven't heard, the record is a distinct leap forward, but last one was good. This one's great.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. If that was not the result, I would just assume hang up on the interview. But there'd be no point in me being here. But you know, the last one, I don't know, because like I love I still listen to the last one. Is that wrong to listen to your own?
No, not at all.
I don't know. I critique it so much. I listen to it like, oh God, what was I thinking? But like in between this one and the last one, you know, we used to our old setup used to be it'd be acoustic guitar and bass and piano, and like the drummer, when we played live, he'd play hand drums, and you ever seen, I know you like Social Distortion,
and I
saw a video of them playing a live, like in a coffee shop, and the guy had a suitcase for a kick drum, and you know, we used to play shows with just like hand drums and that little suitcase kick drum that I saw from that video, because that was what would fit in the back of my car. And so like like I was telling you off the air, I have an SUV, so we'd pile everything in the back of that and just cram it full, and we just go play all these little coffee shops, and we play some little small club stuff with that setup, and that setup informed a lot of the way we wrote songs, which is why a lot of the last album sounds the style it sounds. And I think in between now and then, we added my cousin, is one of my best friend, Ryan Richburg. He's joined the band. He was in there originally. He plays electric guitar. He's a great electric guitar player, and we just started using the full drums and everything when we practice, and that essentially changed the whole sound. It actually kind of sounds like us, if that makes any sense. So it's a lot different than the last one. It's a lot louder, at least. What did you all do in the actual recording of this record? Did y'all head anywhere special when you decided to record this record? Well, you know, initially we went and started recording this with our friend Arthur Alligood. He's a songwriter out of Tennessee, and he's like one of my favorite songwriters. And he actually produced our last EP, and we were recording it at Wash House Studios in Nashville. But we got in there and started recording, and just logistically, since we all have jobs and everything, we couldn't keep going back to finish it. And so we just scrapped what we did there. was kind of disheartening for a little while after that, because I was like, you just can't really make it work of all of us going back up here all the time. And I was like, I don't really know anywhere in Alabama. And then that St. Paul and the Broken Bones EP came out. I was actually listening to your episode with him yesterday. I remember that came out, and they were starting to get some traction. I listened to it, and I was like, well, dang, this sounds pretty good. And I was like, well, where's this recorded at? Birmingham. Well, dang, who in Birmingham's recording this stuff? I looked on there, and Les Newby in Birmingham, he produced that first EP they did, and it's like, dang, well, I need to get up with this guy. And a friend of mine had been recording with him. I was like, hey, give me his number. So I got in touch with Les, and, man, we went up there to Birmingham and did this new album with him. And it was, he's so cool. Like, I don't know if you've ever met him, but he's the coolest guy. And we just went up there and knocked it out, and it wasn't any pressure, and we just had a good time and recorded it. And I'm super fired up about how it sounds. He's good. He's real good, too. And he's doing stuff that you don't even know he's doing. I think you're in there just having a good time, and he's doing great stuff.
There is something to be said for someone who kind of gets you as an Alabama musician.
Yeah, because usually, like, I get so nervous about recording. I don't know, apparently I've been thinking about it. I get nervous about a lot of stuff. I get nervous when we play live. I get nervous when we record. Maybe I should just quit. I used to get so nervous about recording, and I guess it was me just being uptight. Going up there with him, I'd almost pay just to go sit up there and hang out. Almost.
So how long did it take y'all to finish that?
It took us about a week and a half or 2 weeks to do it over the course of a couple months. We'd go up there for 2 or 3 days at a time. Actually, I kind of like doing it that way. A lot of people go in and knock it out all at once, which is what I would have liked to have done initially, but we go in and record 2 or 3 songs over the course of a few days and sit on them for about a month or so and listen to them and pick them apart a little bit and say, okay, well, this is what we need to do next time. We need to fix this next time. So it turned out better, I think, for us to do it that way.
Did he work in a producing role to kind of say, all right, let's quit messing with this one? Or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he will tell you anytime that he thinks it's done. Coming from my day job, I'm a graphic designer. I work at an advertising agency in Montgomery called Stamp, and that's what I do. And so, like, there's so many times when you think you're done with, you are actually done with the project you're working on, but, like, you want to keep messing with it anyway, and you end up just ruining something because you just keep messing with it. The best thing about Les is that, he knows when something's done. He'd have to cut us off a bunch of times saying, no, I don't think we need to do that. And, you're like, well, crap, I'm here recording this. Don't tell me when to cut it off. But he was right every single time, and he has a great ear for that kind of stuff. And I think he brought out a lot of stuff in a lot of these songs that wouldn't have been there if we just kind of done it ourselves. I'm all for producers now because we spent a while doing it. We demoed all these songs with a friend of ours in Troy, and they all sounded good. And then we get in the studio and hey, we're just going to let's do what we do on those demos. And we the song will be done let's put a shaker on it. And I was like, a shaker? And Les will be like, shaker? You don't need a shaker on this dang song. And I'm like, well, why not? Let's throw everything at it. But he has great sensibilities about what needs to be there and what doesn't need to be there.
Pick up your limited edition Country Fried Rock merchandise at Ignition Music Garage in Goshen, Indiana. Thank you to the thousands of listeners who entered our Bonnaroo giveaway. Huge congratulations going out to our grand prize winner, Daniel May from Florence, Alabama. We appreciate every one of you who entered. If you did not win, go ahead and get those tickets now for Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival in Manchester, Tennessee.
Hey, this is Perry Brown from Fire Mountain, and you're listening to Country Fried Rock.
So I don't want to get off too much on a tangent about your day job, but tell me a little bit how working in graphic design has impacted the choices y'all have made as a band.
Well, actually, if I didn't do, what I do for a living, I don't know if because I started the band 5 years ago, and it was me and my friend Jacob, and we were just trying to look for something for fun to do. But what drew me to my day job was concert posters and gig posters and album covers and stuff like that. And that's what made me want to do my actual day job. Just gotten out of college, and I didn't really have there's no big music scene around Troy that has a need for that kind of stuff. And so I was like, well, crap, I want to do some of this stuff. And so I was like, well, heck, I'll just start a new band and I'll just do all my own stuff, and that'll give me a good excuse to make posters and make CD covers and all that stuff. That was a big reason why, a big thing that played into me starting this band was it was just kind of a art project with me and a friend of mine, and then it just ended up being this.
So what kind of concert posters and album covers, what gets you even now?
I tell you an album cover I really like, and it was the last Centromatic album.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love that album cover. I think, didn't Will paint that?
I believe so. He has a whole series of all kinds of paintings. The particular one about baseball people.
Yeah,
well.
I love his baseball paintings. I mean, the style of those is really great.
They have a new record coming out.
I know. I listened to it. I listened to the single last week. I'm pretty fired up about it.
That's all I've heard as well. I'm so excited. We have to give a big thank you to Centromatic. They donated a song for our musicians' mental health charity record as well. We love them.
I don't do a ton of posters, but when I get a chance, I do. I do a lot through Standard Deluxe. I used to do a lot through them in Waverly. They do a lot of posters for bands that come out there and play at the 280 Boogie and stuff like that. And I've done some stuff, work with them, and I do some posters every now and then for bands that come through the Bottle Tree in Birmingham. I think the last one I did with them was a Sebadoh poster, and whatever comes up. If I have time to do it, I love to do it.
I don't actually know the guys in Waverly and Standard Deluxe and all that.
You got to go down.
I've heard that from everyone. I was watching people post from the last Boogie, just watching their Instagrams, and I was like, I have to be there.
You really do. Like, people say that about a lot of things. You really need to go. It's a blast and a half.
And I can't tell you how many musicians who've been on the show who have played huge places all over the world who I've said, what's your favorite place to play? And they say Waverly.
Man, it's so much fun. Like, we played out there last year, and there's a ton of people out there, and they're always attentive and listening and fired up about everything. And, everybody's, it's just a good kind of music community. It's in Scott's backyard. Yeah. He's had all sorts of people come through there and play. I remember I saw the Civil Wars out there, I think, like, before they went on and won all those Grammy Awards and stuff. And I remember sitting out there, and there was, like, a ton of people out there. And I was, like, sitting at the front. And I was like, I turned around and didn't realize how many people were there. And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow, yeah. When you still have day jobs and that sort of thing, do you get out to hear much music?
I try to. Living in Troy, though, I'm not downing Troy because, I love Troy, and people question that all the time. But there's not really a big place to see original music around Troy or even Montgomery, and you usually have to go to like Birmingham to hear it. I went to every now and then when somebody I like comes through the Bottle Tree or Workplay or somewhere up in Birmingham, I'll go see them. Like last Thursday, I went to see Damien Gerardo. He played at Bottle Tree last Thursday, so I went up to see him. So whenever stuff like that comes through, I always try to make an effort to go out and see what's going on. It becomes a priority. Y'all
have played a bit regionally. What are places that have worked for you?
We play a ton up in Birmingham. We play a lot of shows up there. And like I said, I've set up 15 times. We always go to the Bottle Tree up there because that's probably my favorite place to play. Small, medium-sized club up there, but like tons of bands come through there all the time. And like I've listened to interviews of bands I like, and they're like, this is one of our favorite places to play ever. That they go all over the place. And we love playing there, and we played up in, we played at Hiawatha in Nashville. That was a cool place, and we'll play just about wherever. You got your kid's birthday party coming up soon, you don't mind original music, and you got about $10, you can get me there.
We're available.
Yeah, we're available.
What kind of logistics do you have on show setups? Do you like to get together with some other band friends, or are y'all mostly doing your own thing?
Every now and then we play shows. Like there's a friend of mine, his name's Wilder Atkins. He lives in Birmingham, and we play a lot of shows with him. He's awesome, if you've never heard him before. But he's got a record he's working on that should be done sometime soon. He does a lot of like more quieter, just him guitar kind of stuff. We do a lot of stuff with him, and we got a couple other bands we're friends with up there around the Birmingham area. But usually I do all the show booking and stuff like that. So I'm just always kind of keeping my eyes open for any decent-looking opportunities coming up. I really don't discriminate too much. I'll try to take whatever I can.
If y'all could build your own bill, like, say 3 bands on a bill, who would you want to bring along?
Oh, my gosh. I don't even know. I don't even think like that. Let's say us and Wilco, and I don't know.
Well, how about buddy bands?
A couple weeks ago I told you, I think didn't you go to Rhythm and Blooms a couple weeks ago? I think I saw a comment or something on your Facebook and told you to go see River Wireless.
Yes.
I'll play with them anytime they get within 5 hours of me. They're one of my favorite, as a band, like our whole band, they're probably one of our favorite bands. I love playing with those guys. They blow my mind every time I see them.
That's awesome.
And I'll always play with them anytime they come through. I don't know. It's just not really something I ever thought about that much.
What kind of plans do you all have for bringing the music to people?
Well, we got some shows kind of planned out over the next couple months. Some of them are in Georgia and some in North Alabama. And we got a couple close to home, and we're just I'm still in the process of trying to just booking a couple shows here and there, some decent shows here and there over the next couple months, and getting the word out on the internet and stuff like that. As much as I can with my free time. That's why I'm glad that I Corey and them at This Is American Music are helping me out too.
Yeah, and obviously everybody knows they're long-term friends of ours as well. And how did you end up hooking up with them?
I mean, you were talking about bad weather earlier off the air. Probably back 2011, there were some really bad tornadoes that came through Alabama, and they destroyed a bunch of stuff in Tuscaloosa and Coleman and a lot of stuff in Alabama. And Scott and the guys at Standard Deluxe and Corey and them at This Is American Music did a benefit concert at Standard Deluxe for the tornadoes, and they needed a poster for it, and Scott or Corey one got up with me to do a poster for it, and that's how I met Corey.
Oh.
And I'm a huge fan of everything they've done at that label and how they treat people, and it's just a lot different than a lot of things you see around. And there's good guys. Just try to help them out with it. If they need anything, I was like, hey, if you ever need me to do another poster, or you need me to do anything else, just let me know. And me and him have just kind of kept up over the years, and he's come to see us play a couple times, and apparently he liked what we were doing.
That's cool. Country Fried Rock is committed to supporting the musicians, making the music we love. Help them out by buying their music, and help us out at no extra cost by purchasing through the links on our website. Country Fried Rock is helping prevent musician suicide. For the last 2 years, our official charity has been Nucci's Space, a nonprofit organization removing barriers to mental health care for the music community of Athens, Georgia. This model program addresses everything from the need for affordable rehearsal space to loaner gear, as well as direct mental health services and primary care for musicians. We've got a ton of ways you can help them out at countryfriedrock.bandcamp.com. 2 incredible album compilations, baby onesies. Check it all out. Get some great music for yourself or for a friend and make a difference.
Hey, this is Perry Brown from Fire Mountain. Check out our new album, All Dies Down. You can find that on our website at www.firemountainband.com.
What is it that having a label on board with you this time is allowing you to have some freedom to do?
Not have a migraine. I mean, because it's just hard for us booking all the shows and trying to get all the press. And I've had great people like April with Common Folk Music help me out with PR and stuff like that. But just having to do all that and try to make connections and have all the politic side of it, just having someone else to do that. That's been a huge help for me. Them kind of getting the album out there, and they've helped us, with some packaging stuff and things like that. And it's just a lot of stuff that I was worried about that they took off of me. I got it pretty much where I'm comfortable with it right now because this isn't my full-time gig. So it's like the capacity that we're doing it in right now, I think it's working.
You are where you are.
Me. Yeah, it's what it is for right now.
As I said before, I like the last record, but I really like this record. So more on a directly to the song basis, what is changing for you all?
A lot of this one is about, I sketch out the songs and write the lyrics and stuff, and the rest of the band, they write their own parts, and they've added stuff to these songs that I would have never thought of, what I'm saying, that change the feeling of a lot of them. But the big thing, lyric-wise, that this album is about, me and my wife, we dated for 7 years before we got married. And I started writing these songs 3 years ago. And a lot of this stuff was, the last EP was about, how you get so used to something in your life and then you get to a certain age and all your friends start moving off and everything changes, and having to deal with that kind of life change is what our last EP was about. This album, most of the songs are about that life change in my life whenever, you're settling down and you're getting married to somebody else and kind of committing your life to somebody else, that you have to really start looking at yourself and saying, what kind of person am I? What kind of man am I? What am I doing? How am I treating this other person? How am I, leading my family? And a lot of these songs came out of me just looking at that and saying, dang, I have a lot of this stuff wrong with me. And a lot of these songs are just me saying it out loud because it's hard for me to say it out loud any other way.
I really had to listen a couple times to get to that because it's the kind of record you can put on and listen to over and over without ever even realizing, oh, hey, wait. And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, the songs are a lot more serious than how the band is in person. I mean, we're unbearable sometimes personally. Here's a funny story. Me and the drummer, we cut up. Adam, he's one of my best friends, and we just cut up all the time, and you get us around each other, and we'll just drive you insane. Oh my God, y'all shut up and go away, because we were raised exactly the same, and we have the same childhood memories and stuff like that, and we remember the same stupid kids' toys from the early 90s and stuff, and we know all the jingles to them, and so we'll start singing all that stuff, and people are like, oh my gosh, get away from us. But I remember Les, he was sending me some notes when he was mixing the record, and he sent me a message on, I guess it was on Facebook or something. He's like, ask me how many fart noises I've had to cut out of Adam's mic on this one song. And he was like, I lost count at 12. And I was like, my gosh, we actually paid for him to do extra time because he's having to cut fart noises out of our songs. So, yeah. So in person, it's pretty ridiculous. But the songs, I've always found a big reason I do this music, too, I think we all do it, is just we're kind of goofy in real life, but this is kind of how we get out a lot of that stuff on the inside.
What do y'all listen to?
Everybody in the band listens to something different. Like me and Adam, we listen to a lot of similar stuff. Let's see, Brian, he plays piano, and he lives in Nashville, and he's the only one that doesn't live in Alabama. He used to live here, but he lives in Nashville now, and he's actually a missionary up there, and he leads worship at a lot of places and stuff.
Wow.
And he's a phenomenal musician. He can play all of the rest of us, out the door. He's phenomenal, and you should go listen to some of his solo stuff. It's ridiculous. He listens to a lot of crazy stuff. It's crazy to me because I don't understand it. Anything that's too musically complicated for me, I'm like, okay, buddy, I get the merit in it. I just can't. It's about to blow my mind. And Walter, he plays bass. He's into a lot of. He'll listen. I don't really know what he listens to. He likes a lot of jam band stuff, but he likes a lot of newer stuff. I don't know. And then Ryan plays electric guitar. He listens to a lot of the same stuff I do. Big things to me that I listen to, musical influences on this album specifically. Wilco is one of my favorite bands ever. I name a dog Wilco.
Oh, my gosh.
I have a pug. That's his name. Centromatic, like you said earlier, I'm really fired up about their new album coming out. Their Fort Recovery album, that's my favorite album from them, and that album was a big influence on me and a lot of this stuff on our record. And to tell you, my favorite record that's come out in the past 5 years, I think that has influenced more of my writing on this album and how it sounds. Even if the album doesn't sound this way, this record influenced me enough to change the way it is and things. You heard Tramp from Sharon Van Etten?
Yes.
Gosh, that's like my favorite album. I don't know why. I listen to it every week, at least once. It came out 2 years ago, I think. I don't know why I love that album so much, but everything about it, I love that album. People can listen to anything. I like anything if it's good.
Exactly. I went to a music conference thing one time, and it was like 5 rules to music success. And this one guy gets up there and he goes, there's only one rule. Be awesome.
Yeah, that's it. If it's awesome music, I'm going to listen to it if it's not bad. And even that's subjective, right? Someone's bad and someone else is good. I'm like, I can't say, this is what I like. And if you don't like it, that's fine with me, man.
Whatever. Check out our live music partners at linguamusicalive.com. Live events that you can attend near Asheville, North Carolina, as well as their online video series, Lingua Musica Live. Find us on iTunes, Spreaker, Podfeed, Player FM, Blueberry, Stitcher, Gigadial, Digital Podcast, and some great apps including Agogo and Swell in both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Wherever you listen, you'll find Country Fried Rock. Never miss an episode.
Hey, this is Perry from Fire Mountain. Thanks for listening to Country Fried Rock. If you want to find out more about Fire Mountain, you can find us on our website at firemountainband.com. On there's links to our Bandcamp page and all of our social stuff so you can keep up with what's going on.
With Wilco, what particular record, if any?
Summer Teeth is my favorite Wilco record, just because, I like Jay Bennett's influences on that album.
Yeah.
Because it's so, I don't know, it's real loose in the songwriting, at least. All the playing's really tight, but the songwriting is, even though some of the songs are pretty cutting on that record, it's fun for some reason. And the sound of that record is so different to me than any of their other ones. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, his family's foundation, I think, has merged with another foundation recently, but, lots of people very dedicated to his memory.
Right. Yeah, I love that record. That's my favorite one from them.
Well, so what else do y'all have going on with music?
It's been, so much of a focus over the past few years just trying to finish this thing and get it done. And whatever time we could scrounge together to do it. I don't really know what's next because the main focus for so long has been finishing this thing. And I just wanted to make something. I wanted all of us to make something we could be proud of. Even if we quit doing music tomorrow, that's entirely possible. Something we could look back on and say, here was a good chronicle of this point in all of our lives. And this is what we did. And this was, we didn't beat around the bush on it. We went and made something we were proud of. And I wanted everybody else to really like it too. And I haven't really looked past it. In most things, you try to look down the road, you try to look decades ahead, years ahead in your life. And on this, it's just been, let me get done with this and see what happens.
All right. So with a background in graphic design, tell me about album cover, merch. What do you have that looks cool?
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm always excited to talk about that. Me and a guy I work with here at Stamp, where I work, his name's Stephen Poff, and he's a phenomenal photographer. He's had his photography and videos, all over the place. One of his pictures was just on USA Today, yesterday. And me and him are really good friends. He actually helped with a couple that, there's a new song on the record. It's probably my favorite one on there at the moment because it's newer. I've Been Wrong. And, he actually would come in the studio with us, and he was taking photos with us, and he kind of actually helped me arrange that song a little bit. So he's involved in a lot of stuff on this album. But me and him got together, and he came up with this idea. We were trying to talk out about the album cover, and before it had just been stuff that illustrative kind of stuff that I'd done on past album covers and stuff. And on this one, I wanted it to be more photographic. And so we kind of talked through how the album felt and what was going on. And he had this idea of doing this kind of cardboard cityscape kind of deal. And I thought that was a good idea. I was like, why not? Don't try to reinvent the wheel if you have a good idea already, right? So we got together one Saturday, and we cut out in cardboard this cityscape skyline thing, and we set it up, and we lit it, and he just shot a bunch of stuff, different angles on it, different things, and took it in, and that became the album cover.
It looks really, really cool.
Thank you. I like that. I think it turned out really well. And so I kind of just took it and put the album cover together, and I think it looks good. It's all over everything, and one of our promo videos we just put up, I had another guy I work with, his name's Joe Walker. He's a motion graphics guy, and I had him take the album cover, and I cut out the different pieces in it, and he actually made it into like this. It's that skyline, but it's like the times of day change and the lights flicker on and off. We're actually going to use that in our stage shows, on these shows we have coming up, like projected on the wall and everything. Kind of use that same thing, too, on this little promo video we have up there now talking about the album coming out. And that turned out real cool, too.
Okay, that's super cool.
Yeah, I think it turned out really cool.
Y'all need to go to the website and see this if you have not had a chance yet, because it's really neat.
Yeah, it's cool. It's, it's the only cardboard cutout looking thing I've seen that didn't creep me out.
Yeah, I couldn't decide if it was a painting or what it was.
We went to the store and bought construction paper and like manila folders or something. We cut them out and stuck them together with shish kabob skewers. That's it. And Stephen just made it look cool. He made it look like it was supposed to be there.
It's really cool. And now that I know the methodology, I like it even more. That's super neat.
Yeah, it was fun. We just kind of hung out and set it up here at work and just took a picture on Saturday and spent a day. And it turned out well.
That's very cool. Well, Perry Brown, thank you so much for sharing with us about All Dies Down from Fire Mountain. Looking forward to this record.
No problem. Thanks, Sloan, for having me on.
Absolutely. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You can find Country Fried Rock on great radio stations like 91.1 The Globe in Goshen, Indiana, Wildman Steve Radio Network from Auburn, Alabama, around the world. Online from Texas at Root Hog Radio, part of Radio Free Americana, from Mobile, Alabama on the Mod Mobilian Radio Network. Listen in Georgetown, California at KFOK 96.1, from Kodiak, Alaska on KMXT, KSRQ, Grand Forks, Minnesota, KKRN, Round Mountain, California, KDRP, solar-powered radio from Dripping Springs, Texas, WALW, Moulton, Alabama, and other great stations like CJXF, Calgary, Canada, 89.1 The Lakeshore, and yourhometownradio.com. Country Fried Rock, music uncovered. This week's instrumental is Gilbert Takes the Wheel from Guadalcanal Diary and their album, Walking in the Shadow of the Big Man. You can subscribe to our weekly podcast on iTunes. Just search Country Fried Rock. Our Country Fried Rock stinger is from Steve Soto and the Twisted Hearts. Country Fried Rock is a partnership with the nonprofit Florence Regional Arts Alliance. Your donations to this program are tax-deductible to the extent you are eligible under U.S. law. Country Fried Rock radio programs are distributed to public radio through the Public Radio Exchange, prx.org. Copyright 2014 by Lilypad Productions. All rights reserved.
Ever he been helping us some Country Fried Rock.